Hi, this is Tharnak with episode thoughts for Sailor Moon Crystal, and this is for episode 20. Uh, with this episode, it's kind of one of these episodes for the kind of R arc where we get a lot of info dumping, where basically uh, Sailor Moon, Sailor Venus, and Tuxedo Mask meet with the King Endymion, and he goes ahead and pretty much explains, well, everything, what's happened in this 30th century. He goes ahead and kind of also helps answer some questions. Of course, the first one being like the most obvious one is the fact that now everyone knows that Chibiusa is the daughter of Mamoru and Usagi, which was pretty much apparent to everyone but I guess the characters of the story. And of course we get introduced formally to Diana, and that's like one of the things I like about, Crystal and sticking, more true to the manga, is that we do get some of these character introductions a little earlier. And Diana is one of those because in the original anime you had to pretty much wait until S, I think. I think it's S. Yeah, during S, I think, if I remember right, both Chibiusa and Diana come back from the future. But of course, with the manga, Diana is introduced formally in this chapter. So it's nice to see her. And let's see. Other than that, like I said, we kind of get the explanation that basically the Black Moon clan, they kind of they found this planet Nemesis. They're kind of like anti, I guess, maybe Moon Kingdom would be best. I'm not really sure what kingdom they would consider the one that's, Neo Queen Serenity and King Endymion rule. But they're against them. They went and I guess found Nemesis, which is just this kind of like phantom planet that was housed a criminal, which one can only assume is Wise Man, and have been using that to pretty much have their attack on the 30th century. So that more or less kind of sums that up. Of course, it's the whole issue of that no one's really quite sure exactly what happened on the day that they attacked, other than it seemed pretty much to devastate everything except for the palace, and Neo Queen Serenity kind of fell into the sleep, as well as the future Sailor Guardians and King Endymion, with only Chibiusa and Diana basically the only ones running around still. Which of course kind of explains why Chibiusa went back to the past. And that is, yeah, that's basically the big info dump of this episode. Of course, what's kind of nice, what actually kind of enjoying this manga, from the manga, is the fact that, they don't just kind of stay in the future, they kind of go back to the past and such. I think the only major difference from this episode compared to the manga is the fact there was one page which is basically a scene to focus on Sailor Venus, as she just kind of thinks to herself mostly, but in the anime it kind of gets dropped, which I can understand. I'm kind of disappointed because it's nice to see other characters other than Usagi and Mamoru and Chibiusa, but that's basically what we got this episode. Though of course we do get to see more Pluto, which I'm very happy about because I love Pluto and I love the fact that we do see much more of her. And in this, they do kind of bring up the fact that kind of Pluto at least is crushing on King Endymion. Though I'm not really sure why they bother, because it's something that, yeah, it's kind of there in the manga, but it gets dropped pretty much after this season. So it seems kind of pointless for them to have kept that in. So, yeah, I didn't care for that for very much because, like I said, it's just something that gets dropped, so it seemed kind of pointless to keep it in. But they did. But yeah, outside of that, pretty faithful. Of course, it also means we do have more of this kind of like frustration thing with Usagi just kind of getting jealous of Chibiusa and the fact that, you know, Mamoru is so intent on like protecting her. But of course, in this time around, though, with Usagi, she does kind of bring up the fact that, you know, she kind of realizes that she's totally being foolish about it all, and at the heart of it, it's not so much that she's jealous of Chibiusa, but she's unhappy with the fact that Mamoru is pretty much doing this all by himself, that he's not including Usagi, you know, in with like protecting Chibiusa, which I think is a bit more understandable to why she's upset, and kind of, you know, I don't know, it's just a lot easier and I think a little bit more understandable than her actually being jealous of a Chibiusa. And, you know, in this episode, you know, she kind of comes to really understand that. So that's nice, because really that whole relationship drama in this, I guess, story arc, I didn't care too much about, but I think the way the manga handled it, I definitely preferred it over the original anime adaptation, at least. But let's see. I guess after that, there's really not too much. I mean, there is a battle with Emerald, and that ends up being her final battle, and it is kind of weird because I'm so used to the original anime where it's Rubius that is the one to die first of, I guess, the more main villains from the Black Moon. So it's weird for him to actually not be the first one to die. And of course, you know, in that battle also brings up the fact that Sailor Moon, she's having trouble with actually accessing her powers that come from like the Silver Millennium Crystal. And basically at the end she gets kidnapped, and that's the end of this episode, which of course was the end of the chapter. But I'm kind of glad that we've hit this point, because next episode we finally get the return of the other Sailor Guardians. So it'll be nice to see everyone back and in action, because I definitely miss them. I mean, Sailor Venus is definitely one of my faves, but I like everyone as well, so it'll be nice to see them again. So I'm looking forward to that. Also, I'm really excited with the fact that it has been reported that they are going to go ahead and animate the next two storylines of the manga, which, you know, which will be S and Super S. And that makes me so happy, because it means we'll be getting all the Outer Guardians. So really looking forward to that, especially since that's also around the time where, like, the manga and the original anime series, it really diverges quite a bit with, I guess, the storyline. So it'll be interesting to see, like, this more faithful take of it. And just kind of see where that goes. I guess with that more or less wraps up my thoughts. Kind of like this episode. I mean, it was kind of weird because there are, like, some spots here and there where the animation was, like, kind of questionable, but overall pretty decent. Especially, like, in other spots it actually looked okay. So it's a very kind of uneven episode animation wise. So hopefully that means that it's going to be one of the better looking episodes once it gets its home video release and things are fixed up. But yeah, I think with that more or less covers everything I have to say. So thank you for watching. I hope you subscribe to my channel, leave a like or comment. Until next time, bye!